Hi and welcome back to my channel. It's a bit of a cold one today and very, very foggy in Nottingham. So back from group and the numbers were down again. I think it's so typically the Christmas season and a lot of people decide to wait until after Christmas. So I would say the people who stayed to group today were 50% of the number that usually stay, but we're still a really, really good group. Now, I'm standing here with my jacket on. This jacket was from a shop that I've never ever shopped in before, and I think it's one of those occasions where I think I've missed the boat and lost out. My mum said to me last weekend, Marche are closing and I could do with some trousers. So I went shopping with my friend and I actually got some trousers for mum and everything, because my mum's very small, she's only about 4'10", and she's a 25-inch length in trousers and I'm a 27. And I was gobsmacked by the fact that they did all these different lengths in trousers. As I say, it's not a shop I've ever used. Trust me to leave it till it's too late. Anyway, while I was in there with my friend, bought a couple of things for mum, my friend bought a couple of things, and I bought a Christmas present. But when we went back into town on, I think it was Tuesday, I said to Joe, I'm going to go back in and have another look at what they're selling, because they had quite a lot of sale rails, quite a lot of stuff that wasn't yet in sale, but they are closing down. Found a pair of jeans for £18, which weren't in the sale, which are the perfect length for somebody of 5'2", and they had every size from a 10 to a 20 something. So if you're looking for jeans, it might be worth your while having a look in there if you're not familiar with their stuff. But get there quick because they are closing. And then also found this jacket. Now I've got a dark blue leather biker jacket, but Joe spotted this, didn't you?
Yeah.
And they did it in this navy, or they also did it in cream, which I liked, but would not be practical for me because it would be filthy in 5 minutes. But the one thing I would say about their things is I had to go up a size in their clothes. Now, whether that's true of everything, I don't know, but this jacket is actually a really nice fit, but it's a 14. It's called suede-ette. It actually feels like a really nice brush cotton, and I think, does it look a bit suede from a distance? I don't know. Do you know what suede looks like?
Maybe a little.
Little. But it's so comfortable and it's beautifully lined. One of the things that struck me when I tried it on was the sleeves are the right length. And I actually tried the 14 on first because they only had the 12, which is what I would usually buy in cream. And I was a bit disappointed they didn't have the 12 in navy. But I wanted to be able to wear sweatshirts or jumper and cardigan or something underneath it. I've got enough jackets that, like one of my leather jackets, I can only wear with t-shirts. I could not get a jumper underneath it because it's a size 12 and leather jackets can be a bit unforgiving. My other leather jacket is a size 12 and I can get a jumper under it, but I suppose it's where you buy them. But this is a size 14 and I think it's a good fit. I mean, it's a bit loose here, but that's normal for me. Anyway, just wanted to show it you. This was £45 and when we went to the till she knocked £10 off it. So it's really comfortable and it's one of those jackets that you could put on, zip it up, go shopping and not have to worry about, you know, forever undoing your coat because you're too hot, or can't sit down to have a coffee because I need to undo my coat and all that. It's really, really comfortable and it's nicely lined. So I just wanted to show you that and say, if you like me and you've never shopped in Marche, if you've got an opportunity because you've got one somewhere near you, go and have a look before they close, because if I had realised years ago what nice stuff they did, I'd have actually been shopping there more often. I thought, in my naivety, that it was an old, what my mum's generation type shop. I mean, my mum's 87. I know I'm what some people would call an old lady, but I don't tend to shop that way. I think I don't. I'm not into twin set and pearls yet. Might come, but not yet. So, my week. I have had a really, really nice week. Joe's been on holiday this week, so we've had more time. And we've actually walked every day except yesterday, which yesterday he was really busy. But we've been doing good walks, haven't we, Joe?
Yeah.
Up the hill at speed. And I mean, there's been a couple of days where I've been like, slow down, I can't do this, and getting a bit out of breath because he will push me a bit. Well, sometimes I could actually do with him physically getting behind me and shoving me. And a couple of days when we've come back, when we come to, there's a big field behind where we live, and when we come to walk back over the field, the path that brings us up by the big leisure centre goes uphill. And if Joe walks really fast, I can like literally jog alongside him. And done that a couple of days and managed to get to the top of the hill without being out of breath, which is an achievement. But even to go into town, we could walk round the corner that way and there's a bus stop within 50 yards. Or we could walk that way and there's a tram stop in a 10-minute walk. But we formulated a route that takes us up several hills, round the estate to get us to the top tram stop, which is a good, 8,000 steps? Probably 8,000 steps. So we choose to do that. And then when we get into town, what we've done as we've got fitter is we've moved the stop back and back and back. So where we would normally get off in, if you know Nottingham at the Victoria Centre, we now probably get off 7 stops before that. And we actually get off in what is known as the Meadows, which is a heck of a good walk to Victoria Centre. So you're probably looking at getting off and it's a half-hour walk to where we used to get off. The old me would have said, I can't do it. I'm staying on the bus, paid the fare, I'm staying on the bus till the last minute. The new me enjoys getting off and challenging myself. So even if it's pickling it down with rain like it was when we went into town on Thursday, we still get off 7 stops early and we still walk, don't we, Joe?
Yeah.
One of the things we did do, we were looking for a Christmas jumper, and we actually looked in H&M and Marks, couldn't find what we were looking for. Popped into Primark to have a look, and they didn't necessarily have exactly what we were looking for. But as we came out of Primark, it was pouring with rain, and Joe said, oh, I haven't got a brolly. And just as we came out by the door, there was a big stand of umbrellas, which Joe pointed out. So we bought a brolly, didn't we, Joe? We bought a fold-up brolly for £4. It nearly got us home before it blew inside out and broke. Because I think here, be careful what you buy because it's cheap. It actually nearly got us home before we had to put it in a bin because it broke. But it made us laugh, didn't it? And it kept you sort of dry. So, yeah, what kind of week have I had? Well, following on from last week and my big loss of £4, which for me is a big loss, I decided in my wisdom, because this coming week is my anniversary of being at Target, and I know I'm going to miss it, but I'm not fretting about that. I decided to almost wash, rinse, repeat and do exactly what I did last week. I'd got my food diary, it was written down, I'd really enjoyed what I was eating, I'd had some good meals, I always have the same breakfast anyway. My sins were in the 70s, which was good for where I'm at the moment. So I literally followed my own food diary again. And I've really enjoyed myself. I've had some fabulous, fabulous, fabulous food. So this week we have walked 6 days in a row. Last week we walked, I think it was twice, and maybe a small one, right? And I feel full of energy. I feel so much better. I'm sleeping really well, which is good. I think when I walk, I probably walk more for that, more for a good night's sleep than I do for weight loss. And I'm always saying on my channel, I do not walk for weight loss because it doesn't work for me. Well, I'm living proof of it this week. It's been an interesting experiment, for want of a better word, to actually repeat a food diary. But what I have to tell myself is, my body doesn't know I'm repeating last week's food diary. My mind does, my physical body doesn't. But in my head, it was a good positive opportunity to try it. So I did it. And what results did I get this week? Did I get another £4 loss? Did I lose 3? Did I lose 2? Did I lose 1? No, I gained £0.5. Now, in this grand scheme of things, that's really unimportant, but it's taught me a lesson. Why would I choose to repeat it? Because I lost £4. It felt like I'd dieted. It felt like I'd had a good result. As I say, wash, rinse, repeat. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. I cannot expect to get, and I know that now because I've tried it. I used to say this, but I had never tried it. But I cannot expect to get the same result 2 weeks running by doing the same thing 2 weeks running. Because my body's oblivious to all that. And there are hormones and goodness knows what involved in living a daily life. We're not machines. It's not like, oh, if you oil the lawnmower, it cuts the grass better. Our bodies are physical things, you know, a mind, spirit, body and all that sort of thing. I haven't walked the same number of steps this week that I walked last week. I would estimate I've probably done 60% more than I did last week. But it's not all about like exercise for me. It's always been about eating. But because my body took a big shock last week and decided to let go of 4 pounds, why did I think that doing the same thing again would get me the same result? It hasn't. And it was strange because there was a lovely lady sitting behind me in group this morning who told a very similar story to mine. She had had an excellent weight loss last week, not as much as me, but an excellent weight loss. She needed to lose 1 pound to get a big award this week. So she repeated more or less exactly, like sin-wise and everything, what she'd done last week, and she lost ½ pound. And I thought, yeah, that's proof that we're not automatons. We're not that finely tuned that we can judge it and do that and not deprive ourselves, because I eat well, but we're not machines. And the level of hormones in my body, compared to even this lady sitting behind me, who was probably 30 years younger than me, the level of hormones are going to be very different, because I'm through and out the other side of the menopause. She's probably 25 years away from the menopause. And I was watching a really good video yesterday by Lisa Snow, when she's going to be talking a lot more about the menopause and about the effect it can have on our bodies. I'm very lucky. I went through the menopause in 25 minutes, literally. I never had a hot flush, I never had palpitations, never had any of that. This is why we're all different. We can't do what somebody else does and expect to get the results they do. But we can't even repeat what we've done the week before and expect to get the same results. And I think what I was doing was thinking, if I lost 4 pounds this week, if I could lose 2 or 3 this week, I was on my way to getting my next Target award next week, my 4 years at Target. Well, I'm going to miss it, and I need to just accept that. But why am I going to miss it? Because I've chosen to mess around when I could have been tighter on plan. Because I chose to let myself go up to 9 stone 13 and a half and then start to try and come down again. And today I'm 9 stone 8 and a half. But it's not the end of the world. It's not worth crying over, and it's certainly not worth eating over. And that was something that came up very much in image therapy today. You know, that side of us that says, I'm disappointed with my result, I'm going to eat it, I'm going to eat over it, is always going to let us down. That's never going to be, you know, as Naomi says, that's never going to be a good idea. And doing something like that, you're never going to be glad you did it. And I think, yeah, she's right. So I am not peed off with a ½ pound gain. I'm not even perturbed by it. I'm just happy to say this is day 26 of our 30-day challenge, and I've made a decision to take it to 50 days, because 50 days would actually end on Christmas Eve, at the end of Christmas Eve. So I can take my Christmas Day off plan the way I've intended to all along, and I can start again on Boxing Day. So I don't know, are you with me on that, Joe? 50 days?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to share your result this week?
£1.50 off.
£1.50 off. So yeah, again, consistency. He is the most consistent person I know. He's consistently very, very good, or he can be consistently very, very not so good. But he's different. You're wired differently to me, aren't you? He is the most determined person I know. He never, ever, ever quits. I'm somebody who has this like lazy attitude of like, if it's not working, I'll sod it. And I'm actually learning from Joe. It's done me really, really big favour to have this 30-day challenge alongside him. Because doing something with somebody else, if you can motivate each other, is wonderful. Doing something with somebody else, like I used to eat with my overweight friends, if you can lead each other astray, is not so wonderful. And that's why I don't eat with those friends today. So, what else have I got on my little list, Joe? Because my mind's gone blank.
Advent calendar?
Oh yeah, that. I'll just do this first. I was talking to Susan, one of my regular commenters and a dear, dear friend this week, and we were talking about a young lady we're both watching on YouTube, a young lady called, is it Victoria? I can't remember. She's interesting. It was a channel that Susan introduced me to. And one of the subjects, this lady talks a lot about keto, but one of the subjects that came up was fasts and breaking fasts and all this sort of thing. And Susan pointed something out to me that I've known for years, and kind of, it's a fresh way of thinking about it, but having breakfast split it into 2 words, break, fast. Everybody fasts, unless they get up in the middle of the night and gorge, which is what I used to do at my heaviest. It wasn't unusual for me to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and then 4 o'clock and have something to eat and then get up again at 11 o'clock, you know, verging on lunchtime and start again. But every one of us who eats and finishes eating at night, whatever time we finish eating, and then actually goes to bed and sleeps, whether we sleep for 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours or whatever, and then gets up, does whatever, and then we break our fast by having breakfast. Every one of us fasts. So there is power in fasting because the human body naturally does it with sleep. And I think for a long, long time I've had my eating window, and I say my eating window is 8 till 6, so 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I tend to have my breakfast, usually I would say between 8 and 8:30, and I tend to have my evening meal between 5:30 and 6. This week, a couple of times I've been 5:30. But I would then naturally have a fasting window of, what's that, 10 hours? 6, 7, 8, 9, 14 hours. It's a natural phenomenon for the human body and lifestyle to have a fast. So one of the things we're talking about is that people can get very hung up on fasting, and it's a good thing if it's working for you, but it's not the be all and end all. And if you're doing Slimming World, I would say forget fasting, because Slimming World is very much about eating and eating regularly. And Naomi was reminding us in group this morning that as long as you're having 3 meals a day, and as long as you're trying your best that when you snack between those meals to have speed snacks, then you're working this plan to the best of its ability. And I mean, my consultant regularly says, you know, this is what she recommends: breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, supper. So 6 times a day she eats. And she's a fantastic example of how this plan works. 9 years at Target, 8 years as a consultant, and she weighs at group every week. I'm not saying she never has a gain. She goes on holiday, she gets that small gain off again. But yeah, if you're focusing on doing Slimming World, don't be one of these like, oh, I've got to fast 19 hours a day and eat for 5, or I've got to fast. It just doesn't need that. Slimming World is about keeping your metabolism going. When you finish eating at night, then you go to bed, there's your fast. Because unless you're a sleepwalker, which I used to be as a child, apparently I used to sleepwalk out of our front door. But until my mother put a good bolt on it. But it's quite amusing when you get told these stories about when you're a child and you don't remember any of it. But yeah, I mean, there aren't many people who actually actively sleepwalk and eat. But some people can do, but it's rare. So I've never heard that excuse used at group. But I think leave go of worrying about fasting and focus on speed between meals, 3 meals a day, keeping your metabolism going like that steam train that needs fuel. Because if you set off from Newcastle and you want to get to London, if you don't put any coal on after you've passed Derby, you're never going to make it to London. So I don't know if that's relevant to anybody this week, but it certainly made me stop and think. And in group this morning we were talking about advent calendars and the fact that a lot of these chocolate advent calendars, you can buy like your Malteser ones and your Cadbury's ones and whatever. Beware of popping one of those in your mouth every morning and just thinking it's an advent calendar. They all have sin values. And I think that's what I would have done back in the day. I think I would have just thought, for God's sake, they're not very big, are they? And just ate it. But most of them are 1.5 sins, some of them 2. Some of the tiny ones are 1 sin. But check it before you eat it, because over 24 days, something at 1.5 sins for 24 days is 36 sins. They add up, don't they? Anyway, thanks to my lovely, lovely friends Elizabeth and Philip, or Liz and Phil. It's like the Queen and Prince Philip, isn't it? Thanks to my lovely, lovely friends and their little boy. This is my advent calendar this year. No chocolate, no chocolate. Nespresso coffees, 24 different flavours. So every morning I shall be having an espresso and raising my espresso cup to Liz and Phil with gratitude. Because it's just nice. I mean, I think as kids we had advent calendars, and I know when Joe was little he always had them. But as an adult I don't think I've really focused on it. But I thought it's just a nice thought to be able to start my day every day with a different espresso. So yeah. Of course we start them tomorrow, don't we? It's the 1st of December tomorrow. Yeah, have I already said the bit about how much heavier I am this year than last year?
I don't know.
No, he's not listening to me and I can't remember. Conscious again, if I'm repeating myself, forgive me, but conscious that checking my weight chart for this time last year, I'm 8.5 pounds heavier. And I think the thing I haven't said that I should say is, okay, we'll call it a half stone-ish. If I continue to do that for the next 5 years, that's another 2.5 stone on. I can't afford to do that. So I am now even more determined to get back to 9 stone. I've took my eye off the ball a bit. I really have. And yet it doesn't feel like that. I am just very conscious that this morning I asked Joe to work out my BMI because I am a numbers nut. I love numbers. And my BMI matters to me. I know lots of people think it's irrelevant. It might be irrelevant to somebody else. Mine's relevant to me. So working out my BMI this morning, my BMI was 24.6. It used to be 23 point something. I want it back down there. I don't take cholesterol meds anymore. I don't take blood pressure meds anymore. I don't want to go back to where I have to, right? And the other thing is, you know, I was talking to my mum and she said, like, what's half a stone between friends? Well, if we're doing it between friends, I'd rather the friend have the half stone. I don't want it. I feel fine, my clothes are fitting better, you know, I've got a few pounds off, but I'm not where I was. And I don't want to harp back on focusing, oh, got to be where I was, got to be where I was. I am not where I want to be. I am not in Target. I am not at Target. My target is 9 stone. When I first got to Target 4 years ago, and I think I was then, I know my first target was 11.11, then it was 10.10, then it was 9.9. And my target has been 9 stone for, it would be 2 years. Because I got to my 9 stone target on the day of my sister-in-law's funeral. And that's a couple of years ago. And I don't want to go back up. But the only person who can change that is me. So it's down to me to do something about it. I'm not going to put the guilt card on anybody else. Nobody feeds me but myself. So there we are. This week I'm going to be on plan again. I'm going to stick to it. Pushing it to 50 days from 30. It's no hardship because I actually feel so much better for being on plan. I don't want to feel groggy and grotty. I don't want spots. I don't want bloating. I don't want any of that. So all I need to do is continue to eat on plan and feel $1 million, which is how I'm feeling today. So we'll be back next Saturday. We hope you have a good week and take care. Bye.